formally begin our session, we join in thanksgiving in our opening prayer. May we call on Mr. Ustad Sultan Upon, the Department Chair of the Islamic Studies Department of Ateneo de Davao University, to lead the opening dua. An ecumenical prayer will follow.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
O one God of all nations, you created the earth and the cosmos in their differences, beauty, and frailty. The various cultures and religions seek you, the origin of all things. You want each to be for all, not a threat, but a blessing. Lead us to where it is truly you who reign over us, with your love and your compassion. We come to you because you are our God, moving in our hearts in the geniuses of our differing religions. You are our Father. You are our Allah. You are our Manama, Magbabaya, Diwata, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. You call us to peace. God of all truth and goodness, bless us as we gather here. May we be strengthened in mind and heart to pursue what you inspire with insight and deliberation, that our world may advance in true wisdom and justice for all. Amen.
Once again, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Culmination and Tribute Program for our Badaris volunteers. Today, we honor and celebrate the act of courage and compassion to journey with our Bangsamoro brethren and healing and reconciliation of our volunteers. For one school year, MVP volunteers spent 10 months of immersive volunteer experience teaching, engaging in interreligious and intercultural dialogue, and advocating for peace through education and friendship. To formally open our program, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our Ateneo de Davao University's University President, Father Joel Tabora of the Society of Jesus. Let us watch this video message for his opening remarks.
Good afternoon. On February 4th of last year, Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar in Cairo, Ahmed Al-Tayeb, made history by meeting in Abu Dhabi on the Arabian Peninsula. Together they signed a document on human fraternity for peace and living together. In this document, they together declared the adoption of a culture of dialogue as the path, mutual cooperation as the code of conduct, reciprocal understanding as the method and standard. It was a remarkable breakthrough statement against a backdrop of global violence and war due to religion, or at least to issues blamed on religion. It is a statement that has relevance in Mindanao. Now, leaders of true religion in Christianity and Islam were calling in this document for fraternity and peace. The message of the document was adopted by the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines in its declaration of this year, 2020, as a year dedicated to interreligious dialogue. But it was also adopted by the Bishops' Ulama Conference of the Philippines. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, many of the grand activities between church groups, NGOs, and government that had been planned in celebration of this year of interreligious dialogue needed to be cancelled. But I rejoice with you that it was still possible for the Madaris Volunteer Program to deploy 18 volunteers coming from Catholic universities and colleges and state colleges and universities for school year 2019 to 2020. They were received by Muslim communities in Cotabato City, Maguindanao Province, Basilan Province, Tawi-Tawi Province, and Davao Oriental, where they lived with host families, taught DepEd mandated subjects in partner Madaris, encountered the unique joys and challenges of teaching learners in private Islamic schools, and were enriched by interaction with fellow Muslim teachers, and shared in the lives and cultures of their host communities. As has been the case with past batches, I am sure the volunteers have stories of encounters with students and life situations in these communities and schools that are deeply moving and life transforming. And by God's grace, inshallah, I also hope that the Madaris students have also had life transforming experiences through their encounters with the volunteers. To all of the volunteers, then, to their host families, and to our partner Madaris, and the hard-working administrators of the Madaris Volunteer Program, I express my heartfelt congratulations and thanks for another successful year, our 5th year, despite the lockdowns of the pandemic that occurred towards the end of the academic year. Thank you, volunteers, for choosing to do what so many students have not even considered doing, to freely share of your lives and talent as college graduates, to share the blessings of education with sisters and brothers who welcome your sharing. Thank you, host families, for welcoming the volunteers into the warmth of your homes. Thank you, partner Madaris for welcoming them into your learning communities. And thank you, Madaris Volunteer Program administrators and supporters, for your tireless efforts and generosity in the fruitful administration of the program. In this way, you have all entered into a dialogue of life and service with each other, enriching your lives mutually. In this year of dialogue, may the experience have convinced you, with Pope Francis and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, that indeed the culture of dialogue is the path we must all take towards lasting peace in Mindanao and in our country. Through your experience, may mutual cooperation become easier for us all, and reciprocal understanding the gift by which we might continue to work together for prosperity and for the common good. More important, as the document on fraternity suggests, and this year of interreligious dialogue celebrates, may the faith we have in the one God, who in his wisdom created us in diversity, convince us of our fraternity in his merciful and generous act of creation. May it convince us that we are all called in creation to live in peace with one another, in harmony with all of creation, and in continuing praise together of our one Creator. Alhamdulillah, may the one God of creation be forever praised.
Thank you very much for your message, Father Joel. Despite the pandemic situation, the Madaris Volunteer Program had such a fruitful year. We will not be able to have such a wonderful year without the help of our institutional partners. And for that, we are truly grateful. Certainly, we can achieve more through collaboration. The Madaris Volunteer Program is very grateful for the following institutions and individuals, some of whom are with us this afternoon in this celebration. Allow me to recognize our partners. For our partners from Ateneo de Davao University, we have the Arupe Office of Social Formation, the Center for Psychological Extension and Research Services, the School of Education, the Anthropology Department, Islamic Studies Department. We also have the Al Kalam Institute for Islamic Identities and Dialogue in Southeast Asia, the Ignatian Spirituality and Formation Office, the University Community Engagement and Advocacy Council, and Attorney Riza Baldovino of the ADU Senior High School. For our partners outside of the university, we have the Bureau of Madaris Education of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the Tarbiyah Committee of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, the St. John Vianney Theological Seminary, the Philippine Science High School main campus, Brother Carl Gaspar of the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer, Department of Education in Davao City, the 6th Infantry Division of the Philippine Army, the Western Mindanao Command of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine National Police of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, the local commanders of the Moro National Liberation Front and the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, the Ateneo de Zamboanga University through their Social Development Office, and the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, Region 9. Thank you very much for your unwavering support towards the conduct of our program. At this juncture, Father President of Ateneo de Zamboanga University, Father Karel San Juan of the Society of Jesus would like to extend his congratulations with his message. Allow me to read the message on his behalf. On behalf of the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, I congratulate our Madaris volunteers for successfully completing your volunteer year. To the volunteers, you have served well the communities that you were assigned to with generosity, with love, with courage. These values of love, generosity, and courage are the values we teach in our Jesuit schools, and your service is a great example to us, especially to our students. Your presence in our Bangsamoro communities is a powerful witness of these values. As teachers, mentors, advocates of interfaith dialogue, your powerful presence gives us hope. You will always be remembered by the people you served, loved, and inspired. The Ateneo de Zamboanga University will continue to support the Madaris Volunteer Program. And thank you to the organizers led by Ateneo de Davao University, Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, Mr. Vinci Buesa, and Father Joel Tabara of Society of Jesus. Muchas gracias a todos. That concludes the message from Father Karel San Juan of the Ateneo de Zamboanga University. Now, let's have a glance of the school year 2019 to 2020. Let us watch this video recap. Now to present the fifth batch of the MVP volunteers and the program activities for school year 2019 to 2020, let me call the MVP lead coordinator, Mr. Romulo Vinci Bueza.
Father Elmer Dizon, President of the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, Dr. Ombra Imam, the President of the National Association for Bangsamoro Education Incorporated, Father Joel Tabora, President of the Ateneo de Davao University, our individual and institutional partners, good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace to everyone. We are truly grateful that we can all come together through Zoom video conference and celebrate the culmination of the year of service of our 15 volunteers who are deployed in the different areas of Mindanao. Even with this pandemic forcing many of our activities to a pause, we at the Madaris Volunteer Program would not want to leave the volunteers hanging and therefore decided to bring everyone together, albeit virtually, for a final formation session which was concluded this morning, and for a culmination and tribute program this afternoon. If there's one lesson I gathered from our quarantine situation, it's that we need to celebrate victories, big or small. These are victories that are life-sustaining and life-giving. We give thanks to our God for still giving us this opportunity to celebrate with friends, old and new, no matter the distance that separates us. What brings us all together this afternoon are the dedication and love of our volunteers. Dedication and love to peace, to education. Friends, ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you our 15 volunteers who have shown exemplary courage to say yes to our volunteer program and to stay in the affirmation of peace building through education. Let me present our volunteers. First with Miss Alyssa Hajinor. Is Alyssa here? Can you say hi? Miss Alyssa Hajinor was deployed in Cotabato City. Next is Miss Shaira Muhammad. Miss Shaira Muhammad was assigned in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao. Hello, Shaira. Next is Mr. Abdul Pata Sadiq, and he was assigned in Datupiyang, Maguindanao. This is already his second year of volunteering in the program. Next is Miss Diamond Badron. And Miss Diamond was assigned in Bongao in Tawi-Tawi. Is Diamond here? Next is Miss Norhana Kamin, assigned in Banay-Banay, Davao Oriental. That's Diamond. And next is Norhana Kamin in Banay-Banay, Davao Oriental. Together with her, assigned in Banay-Banay Oriental is Miss Baiji Giamel. Hello, Baiji. Next is Robert Angelo Alesna. Robert was assigned in Lamitan City, Basilan. Hello, Robert. And with him in Lamitan is Jason Fasciol. There, right next to him. Robert, Jason, and the next is Joshua Michael Ascano. Joshua Michael Ascano was assigned in Tipo-Tipo, Basilan. Robert, Jason, and Joshua are seminarians from St. John Vianney. Next is Tarhata Abbas, assigned in Cotabato City. Is Tarhata already here with us? No. Some of the volunteers cannot join us in this culmination program because of connectivity issues. Next is Baiputi Adam, assigned in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao. Next volunteer is Rosana Bigkas, who was assigned in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi. Prince Nurul Haq Esmail, assigned in Datupiyang, Maguindanao. Akisha Panganting, assigned in Datupiyang, Maguindanao. And last, our 15th volunteer is Miss Diana Velasco, She was originally assigned in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, and then transferred to Datu Piang, Maguindanao. Thank you very much to our dear volunteers. Please let us give them a warm round of applause. Congratulations to our volunteers. Please permit me now to give you a brief report on the different activities that we have conducted for the school year 2019-2020. So even if the COVID-19 pandemic forced us to cancel some of our activities, we still managed to do most of all the activities that were in line for the previous school year. For the previous school year, our goal was really to continue the journey of the Madaris volunteer program together. When I say together, it means all of us, the partners, institutional partners, and even the individuals who gave their time for the Madaris volunteer program. And it's a journey of healing and reconciliation. Our activity, of course, started with the volunteer deployment. And it starts with preparation, a social preparation of all our partner schools. It includes madrasa visits. And there you will see Mr. Leo Santander, Harris Tangili, and Mr. Rui Oliveros. In this picture, they're in Marawi for the social preparation stage. Program presentation, this picture was in Banay Banay, Davao Oriental, and of course, coordination visit to the different security partners of the program. When we say security partners, it includes the AFP, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, and the Moro National Liberation Front, and even the different LGUs that are hosting our our volunteers. So for this year, for the 2019-2020 batch of volunteers, we actually have 27 partner schools in Cotabato, Zamboanga, Marawi, and in the provinces of Maguindanao, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, and Davao Oriental. So this is the list of all of our partner Madaris. And you'll see here the new partner schools for the school year. So most of the new partner schools were actually part of the different trainings that we conducted for the different Madaris. So we have several in Cotabato City. In Basilan province, we added 2 more schools, Tawi-Tawi province, and in Sulu, we have 2 schools, and Marawi, Zamboanga, and Davao Oriental. So for this school year, we have 18 volunteers who volunteered, but were actually only celebrating 15. The 3 did not make it to the 3rd month of the program. So we recruited 18 volunteers, out of whom are 6 males and 12 females. 16 are from Mindanao, while 2 are from Luzon, 5 Christians, and 13 Muslims. We want to train them before they go to the field, before they are deployed in their different assigned communities. It's a 3-week intensive deployment, pre-deployment training. It happened last May, last year, May 15 to 31, 2019. And here we would really like to thank our different partners, especially from Ateneo de Davao University. And that includes also Brother Carl Gaspar, who from day 1 of the program has been there to lecture, to give us some insights on the struggles and histories, aspirations of the Mindanaoan people. So thank you very much for all of our partners. This is now the missioning ceremony conducted last year, and we were graced by the presence of the Bureau of Madaris Education, the representative from the BME, and the 6th Infantry Division of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. And they were deployed to their different assignments in Cotabato City, Maguindanao, Basilan, Tawi-Tawi, and Banay-Banay a day after the missioning ceremony. In order to ensure that they're doing their volunteer service well and also to make sure that they're safe, we conduct regular monitoring visits with our volunteers and even to our administrators. And integral to the program is really the formation and the growth sessions that are conducted with the volunteers. So this year we conducted it in two venues, one in Cotabato and one in Zamboanga. And here I'd like to thank the Ateneo de Zamboanga University, has been very helpful, hospitable to our volunteers and our staff. Whenever we are in Zamboanga, they will be there. Sir Mayo, Sir Mark, I think they're here in the Culmination program. Father Karel San Juan and Ma'am Ruth Guerrero, they're always very welcoming to our volunteers whenever they are in Zamboanga. Thank you very much. Over the past year, we've conducted several capacity enhancement trainings. First would be the AMUMA Volunteers Pre-Deployment Training. So this is in partnership with the USIC, the University Community Engagement and Advocacy Council of the Ateneo de Davao University. So we help the AMUMA volunteer program in their pre-deployment trainings and also in the formation sessions of the AMUMA volunteers. We were also there when the Association of Jesuit Colleges and Universities in Asia Pacific had their service learning program sponsored by the Arupe Office of Social Formation of the Ateneo. And we were there to share the journey of the volunteers to the participants who came from Japan, Korea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and even in Thailand, from Thailand. One of the big trainings that we conducted last year, it was the Culturally Competent Teacher Promoting Culturally Responsive Classroom in our Madaris. This was participated in by our partner schools from Cotabato City and Maguindanao, and this was conducted in the Bitiala Center in Cotabato City. We were actually the first group to ever use that Bitiala Center. And then there's the Buklod Guro. This is in partnership with the Philippine Science High School main campus and the PEAC. This is an in-service training on innovative teaching strategies. And I'd like to show you a short video that was compiled by the Philippine Science High School. thank you so much, to Philippine Science High School main campus. And of course, thank you so much to all of our partners from Ateneo de Davao University and even outside Ateneo de Davao University. um, we would not have made it to year 5 if not for our individual partners, our institutional partners. And we're hoping that we can still do this next year, actually this year, for the sixth batch. Rest assured that there will be a sixth batch of volunteers and perhaps a seventh batch even with this pandemic, actually not even with this pandemic, but more so because of this pandemic, we will not leave behind our partner schools because of this pandemic. This is the time when actually the program is much needed. Um, Most of our partner schools will be opening this October, and we will be there. We assure you, we assure our administrators, we will be there to assist you in whatever capacity, especially in perhaps in module making, in journeying with you. We will journey in this pandemic season together. We assure you that. We already have, this is just some updates, but we're already working with together with the Al-Kalam Institute for funding of our next batch, the sixth batch of volunteers. And actually, I want to just to end this report because this morning I was reading an article about John Lewis. If you know John Lewis, is a congressman. He's also a civil rights leader in the U.S. And I was reading this article. It was a wonder. This is a wonderful passage from his book, and I think it echoes our hopes, our dreams, and the still important necessity of programs such as the Madaris Volunteer Program. And I quote, anchor the eternity of love in your own soul and embed this planet with goodness. Lean towards the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love, only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it's your time, don't be afraid to stand up, and speak out against injustice. And if you follow your truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, if you shine like a beacon for all to see, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, a world community, and a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. Maraming salamat sa lahat, and may we continue to be beacons of love and peace in this broken world. Shukran.
Thank you very much, Sir Vinci. Yes, right now we will be awarding the certificate of recognition to our certificate of recognition of volunteer service to our MVP volunteers. May we have Mr. Rui Oliveros, the Volunteer Welfare Coordinator, to present the certificates to the volunteers.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Let me virtually present and award the Certificate of Recognition of Voluntary Service to our Madaris volunteers. So first, let me just read the citation. The Madaris Volunteer Program, a program of the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, or CEAP, and the National Association for Bangsamoro Education, Incorporated, NABE, being implemented by the Ateneo de Davao University, presents this recognition of volunteer service to the following volunteers. In grateful appreciation of his or her selfless and dedicated service as a volunteer teacher at their assigned school for the school year 2019 to 2020. Given this 12th day of September 2020 AD, or the 23rd of Muharram 1440 AH at Davao City, Philippines. Signed by Mr. Romulo Vinci Buesa, Lead Coordinator of the Madaris Volunteer Program, Father Joel Itabora of the Society of Jesus, President of the Ateneo de Davao University, Father Elman G. Dizon, President of the Catholic Educational Association of the Philippines, and Dr. Ombra A. Imam, President of the National Association for Bangsamoro Education Incorporated. So, let us now start the presentation of certificates to our volunteers. First is Mr. Hataki Abbas. So Mr. Hataki Abbas is assigned in the School of Character in Cotabato City. Next is Miss Baiputi K. Adam. She was assigned in Sakina Al-Islamiyah Institute in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao. Mr. Robert Angelo Alesna. He is assigned in Madrasatus Zera, School of Religious and Modern Sciences in Lamitan City, Basilan. This certificate is now awarded to Mr. Joshua Michael Ascanio. He was assigned in Mahad Shuhada Al-Islamiyah Tipo-Tipo, Basilan. Okay, next is to Miss Diamond C. Badron. She was assigned in Panglima Damsik Islamic Academy in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi. Also assigned in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, Miss Rosana F. Bigkas, assigned in Al-Qudwa Integrated School. This certificate is now awarded to Mr. Prince Nurul Haq M. Ismael. He was assigned in Markads Al-Huzaim Incorporated in Datupiang, Maguindanao. Next is to Mr. Jason A. Fasciol. He was assigned in Mahad Dawa Al-Islamiyah, Lamitan City, Basilan. And now to Miss Baiji H. Giamel. She is the pioneering batch or the pioneering volunteer to be assigned in Banay Banay Pilot Madrasa in Banay Banay, Davao Oriental. Next is Miss Eliza H. Hadjinor. She was also assigned in School of Character, Cotabato City. Together with Miss Baiji, Norhana K. Kamim is also assigned in Banay Banay Pilot Madrasa in Banay Banay, Davao Oriental. Next is Miss Shaaira G. Muhammad. She was assigned in Sakina Al-Islamiyah Institute in Sultan Kudarat, Maguindanao. Miss Akisha Pangenting, she was assigned in Gani LFP College Incorporated in Datupiang, Maguindanao. Next is Mr. Abdul Pata M. Sadiq. He was assigned in Markads Alusahim Incorporated, Datupiang, Maguindanao. And of course, Miss Diana M. Velasco. She was assigned in Panglima Damsik Islamic Academy in Bongao, Tawi-Tawi, and finished her volunteer service in Gani LFP College Incorporated, Datupiang, Maguindanao. So congratulations to all of our volunteers and thank you very much for your service in our mission for peace building through education and friendship.